It says you are live. Ooh. I'm seeing Helen, and there's Michelle, Kitschy, Tiger, Grr. There is Miss Sarah, and Fatbird, and Sarah Lee. Can you guys see us? Aw, birthday wishes.
Yes, Mary Beth, otherwise known as Ruth Ann.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Ruthie. Hello, Jean. We're up to 53. We're down one person right now, but we're, life sometimes can get in our way. Life. Okay. There's David.
Hi, David.
Oh,
Daniel.
There is Daniel. You guys, if you have not checked out Daniel's Tacky Like Sunday Morning, his Pride episode, I really would recommend checking that out. It was amazing. Hello, Yvonne. It was amazing. It was inspirational. It was really nice to kind of see. Misty was there, Sarah was there, Misty and Jewelry was there. I mean, you guys shared your stories. You really opened up.
Yes, and happy Pride, everybody. Happy Pride.
Yay!
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, of course, this is Vintage Rescue Squad, and welcome back for another episode. Should I change the layout? Are we good with the layout?
I feel rectangular.
I like.
Let's do layout. You want to do I don't know. Let's do this.
Yes.
Is that okay?
See, we're rectangular and we're vertically rectangular. No, horizontally. We're horizontal.
Yeah, we're horizontal.
We were vertical.
The mambo.
But now we're horizontal. We like horizontal.
Notice how she gets saucy when she's on my channel. See how it is?
I get saucy all the time.
Oh, there's Amy. There's She's. Hello, darling. How are you?
Guys. Oh my gosh, Misty, look, I almost wore this today, and then I'm like, no, I'm gonna wear this one. We would have been 20.
You know where people ask me where they can find some cool head wraps.
Twinsies.
Twinning.
Oh, Lord, she got the tea.
I love her. I just got my old Yeti.
Amy is full fabulous, y'all.
Whiskey.
Amy is full fabulous. Oh
I got my sweet tea. Yeah. My Georgia's gonna come out now with you Southerners there.
Come on with you.
Get it.
Well, guys, I guess what we'll go ahead and do is now I know that I guess we're gonna put Marion on the spot because I told Misty and I told Amy, but I didn't tell Marion because I'm just like that. But I thought what we would do is as we're going around, we're gonna play a little game with y'all, and we're gonna play 2 truths and 1 lie, and you guys are gonna have to figure out down in the chat which one is the lie.
Okay, that sounds scandalous.
I love a good scandal. I mean,
I'm trying to think.
Okay, Amy, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first, so I have time to think.
I told you about it, lady.
No, you didn't.
You told me.
Oh, I told Marion. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't tell. Oh, Marion. Marion, you go first.
Okay, I go first.
Marion, go first. Okay.
Okay. Mine aren't that scandalous, but let's see.
Oh, Marion.
Okay. Okay. So my first one is I have flown a plane.
Ooh.
I ran a music venue. Or I've been bitten by a shark.
Ooh, I want to see what people say. Should we the first person that gets it?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll wait for the comments to come in and we'll see. So you guys got to guess which one it is. and I'll read them as they come in. I'll highlight them.
So shark, plain, music
I'm
venue.
seeing Kinsey is saying plain.
Plain.
Scott is saying shark. Whoa, they're coming in hot. Okay.
Are they
Sarah's
guessing the
saying
lie? Is that
shark.
what's happening?
Sandra is saying that she ran a music venue. I'm seeing lots of shark. Jean is saying music venue is the lie. Ooh. I don't know. It seems to be tied between music venue and shark.
Oh, my makeup.
I don't know. And
Y'all let me know when you want me to tell.
all right, go for it. What's the lie?
The lie is the shark. I've never been bitten by a shark.
Oh, thank God.
You've flown a plane?
Yeah, my dad's a pilot and he has a little plane and I grew up flying planes with him. And then after college, I ran a music venue in Oxford, Mississippi for about almost 5 years.
No, you did not. You lived in Oxford?
I did. Almost.
Girl, I was in Bay St. Louis.
Oh, no way. Nice. I went to Ole Miss and then I stayed there. So.
Oh, she went to the Ole Miss. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, she about to upset Pamela Blanchard down there in the chat. Watch out. Pamela's from Alabama now. You know how it goes, Marion.
Oh, yeah, we know how it goes. Oh, yay, that was fun.
That was fun. And guys, Marion, if you don't know, is on Instagram at midmodmarion. And I do want to make sure that I tell you that already in the description box of the video, both Marion and Amy's Instagram pages have already been linked down below. So please make sure that you not only thumbs up the video, but after the video is done, follow those links. Make sure that you subscribe to them on Instagram. And Marion and Amy, you both are having YouTube channels now. Is that correct?
Yes.
Hey.
So I will
Just
have to
getting
make sure
started, but check it out.
Same.
Subscribe.
I will make sure to go through and link those then too for you guys. So you definitely have to check them out.
Thank you.
So who wants to go next? I'll go next.
Okay.
All right. So let's see. Two truths and a lie. I worked for the Episcopal Church. I
It's hard.
I feel like thinking of lies is easier than thinking of the truth, you know, because you want to think of like
I know.
the truth. I mean, there's a lot of truths I could say, but I don't, you know, YouTube would be upset with me. Let's see. I have worked for the Episcopal Church. I have visited Italy, and oh poop, I thought of this truth. What is it? I've actually been married before.
Ooh.
Church, Italy, and marriage.
Italy's the lie.
I'll say the church.
Oh, married, church. Oh, look at G is trying to get Italy. You did not work for the Episcopal Church. You worked for the Catholic Church. Look at Gia pays attention. She knows I was raised Roman Catholic. Now, a lot of you are saying, "Oh, I'm kind of divided," but you all think that the church. So here's the truth. I have, in fact, worked for the Episcopal Church. That is why I lived in Mississippi for a number of years. I worked for a faith-based volunteer organization ran by the Episcopal Church. We utilized volunteer participants to rebuild homes damaged or destroyed by Hurricane Katrina. So I did that for, oh my gosh, almost 10 years. I have, in fact, been to Italy for, oh my gosh, it was 2.5 weeks I visited. I've never been married.
Smart man.
We've had this conversation. The idea of marriage gives me hives. I can't even. So who wants it? Miss Dear Amy, it's one of you two.
I'll go next.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. Let's see. I like drinking beer. I've been pulled over by the police, gave them a fake ID, they let me go, and they gave me back my fake ID. And I really love Liberace.
I already know. I can't say.
The fake ID.
Mine aren't very good. Everyone already knows everything about me. I tell everybody everything.
Oh, honey, look. That's all that anybody's guessing.
I hate beer. I had a fake ID, and I did get pulled over. I got pulled over when I was in college, and the cop gave me he said, "Is this you?" And I said, "No, that's my fake ID." And he gave it back to me. He said, "Be careful."
He was like, "Okay, honey."
Yeah. Be careful. Okay.
Will do, officer.
But someone said Liberace. Gloria! I love Liberace.
Oh, Scott's 3 for 3. Amy, you gotta come in heavy, girl.
I guess it's my turn.
Amy's gonna come in hot.
Okay, so I have been a professional nanny for over 20 years. I lived on a concert tour bus for 6 summers, and I am a professional circus performer.
I hope you're not a clown.
I feel like I know which one.
I feel like I know which one too.
I feel like I'm agreeing with Sarah. I'm seeing tour bus, nanny.
I'm saying
circus.
Yeah, I'll go nanny.
Let me know when I'm supposed to tell the truth.
Circus, nanny. Y'all, see, I don't know how long. That's what's catching me. I don't know the duration of it.
The circus.
I don't know, you guys.
I think it's circus. That's my answer. It's my final answer.
Go for it, Amy.
Okay, so I manage my husband's career. He is a rock star from the 60s, 70s, was in a band called Three Dog Night. So I have lived on a tour bus for 6 summers.
Yep, I knew that.
And I'm also a retired nanny of over 20 years.
I can tell. Yes.
We have that working with children thing in common.
Thank God it wasn't the circus.
No. I dated a circus performer, but it was like,
oh, well.
I'm not getting
Was he
on
the
that
lion
trapeze.
tamer? Was he the lion tamer?
No, he was a trapeze artist.
Oh,
Ooh.
well, flexible.
I mean, I don't have to apply for monetization, but I mean, was that fun?
You know, the fun part was that he was also an illusionist, so it was the magic that drew me in.
Do you know who I had such a crush on growing up as a child of the 80s? Is David Copperfield.
Oh.
I loved him. I thought he just was mesmerizing. I thought he was so good looking. And do y'all remember him?
Mystique, and it's like, I don't want to know how the illusions work. I tried to shield myself the whole time because I do not want to know. I get so excited over the magic.
Everyone's saying, "Tell your husband thank you, thank you." Got a lot of Three Dog Night fans in the house tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I will.
All right, guys. So just like any other Vintage Rescue Squad, we are going to try to keep the conversation as organic as we possibly can. So what we are, Yvonne met David Copperfield.
Oh my gosh. I wouldn't know
And
what
you
to
on
say.
stage.
I could say, can I look into your eyes? Remember when he made that plane disappear?
Oh my gosh, yes, with the oh my gosh, like when he did the network specials and whatnot.
Jill!
Didn't he trap himself in like a box for like a couple weeks or something too on TV? I feel like.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, someone said David Blaine's pretty hot himself, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a weird phase I was going through when I was trying to give up rock stars, but it didn't work.
Rock stars, circus performers.
So, of course, you guys, if you do have any questions, go ahead, throw them up in the chat. Make sure that you do put them in like the capitals or bold, whatever. No, capitals. That way it is easier to see.
Yeah.
So again, you know, Amy and Marion both are very successful Instagram sellers. And I guess my first question for you ladies is what brought about the whole Instagram selling thing? Like what brought you to selling Instagram? But Amy, you do more of your own. And if you guys don't know this, you see those shelves behind her.
She's
you
an
do
artist.
like all kinds of kitschy custom mod dolls. Like what?
Yeah. I've got a few. Like this one I'm making for a friend. So she has a vintage doll head, and then she's dressed in this groovy vegan leather print. And then I still have to add all of her cute little trim and stuff. But here's one that's finished. I do a lot of 60s, but I do a lot of other stuff too.
God. Look at the fabric on that.
Oh,
I know, isn't it amazing? It's Fiona. It's Fiona. But so how I got started is, I guess it was, I mean, I've always been a collector, a toy collector. I've always chased my childhood. Thankfully, I had a lot of stuff still from my childhood, and I was really big into Star Wars as a little girl, and He-Man, but also Strawberry Shortcake and Care Bears. It was like everything. So I collected toys. I got really into Disney when The Little Mermaid came out. As an adult, I went through a whole Disney phase. So I guess it was around 2007. My grandparents both passed away within a few weeks of each other, and they were such a huge part of my life and my childhood and everything. And I wanted to do something to honor my grandmother. So I decided I'm going to start making dolls. So back then I was doing full on sculpts from scratch with polymer clay. Yeah. Wow. And I used to do the whole doll show circuit, and I got published in Dolls Magazine once, and it was a lot of fun. But living in California, I moved from Georgia. Living in California is very expensive. And it just got to the point where like I'm working 13-hour days and I don't have any more energy to make dolls anymore. And so it just got shelved for a long, long time. So then when I started working with my husband, I was still working full time as a nanny and trying to manage both, because I'm like, I got to have this balance in my life, you know, and so I'm holding on to my nanny kids, but it's a lot. And I started feeling like I want to be creative again, because I did other, you know, I like design commercial Christmas decorations when I just got out of high school and did stuff like that, and I got burned out. So then I got burned out on the doll thing. Now I'm trying to do something for my husband's fans for merchandise, because there's nothing fun. It's like cookie cutter, boring stuff.
Yeah.
So I started trying to come up with some ideas to make things like iron on vintage images on bags. And then I started thinking about my husband's mustache. And so I just started like going to Michael's and getting little squirrels and pumpkins and whatever, and putting a mustache on it and calling it Negronize, because his last name is Negron. And my creativity went into all this kind of merchandise for my husband. So then a year before the pandemic, I finally retired from being a nanny so I could focus full time on my husband's career and being at home and maybe getting back into my art. And I found these 2 crafting studios and I hooked up with them, and then the pandemic hit. So I'm like, great. I was just starting to get my groove on here. And now what do I do? So one of the ladies was doing a workshop for cone dolls, the vintage kind of cone dolls, little angels and stuff. And I thought, oh, this will be fun. And it's Zoom. So I get on Zoom with her and I have the little spun cotton heads and the cones. And it just like, I don't know, it awoke something in me. And I'm like, I've got to make more of these. I got to order cones. I got to have the stuff. Well, no, I got to do it today. So I had some little wooden beads on hand and some handmade paper. And so I just made my own cone and painted my own little faces on there and started making them. And then when my supplies came in, I just started really making them. And then I started putting them out there on my Facebook page and my Etsy shop. And then I'm thinking, how can I expand my business beyond my husband's fan base? I love them. You know, they have supported us and they are amazing. But how many dolls can one person have? So I'm looking on Instagram and I'm noticing this vintage community. And I'm like, how could I tap into this vintage community? And I'm like, well, maybe if I use vintage doll heads. So I did this. And somehow I connected with ISN. And I already done a couple live sales on Facebook myself, but I was seeing all these live sales and I started watching them while I was crafting. And I'm like, maybe I can do this. So I jumped in, and like October, November, my business just exploded after I connected with the vintage community. And it was like, I never looked back, and every doll I made found a home, and my house is a flipping mess. And I've been taking this month off mostly to get myself reorganized and set up a proper studio for myself, because now this has become my full-time gig with my husband and I both out of work due to the pandemic because the concert touring business has been shut down. I finally had the time and the energy to put back into my art and my creativity because I'm home and we're not traveling every freaking weekend and every summer. And, you know, so that's my story.
I love it. I love that you said you just jump. I love it when people say they just jump in. You know, you hear that a lot. People are like, well, I want to start a YouTube channel, or I want to do this, and I'm thinking about it. And it's like, you can't think about it. You just got to do it. You just got to do it. I love that. I love that you just did it. You just did it.
I thought about the YouTube thing last summer and I didn't do it yet. But then after I saw you guys, when we kind of all merged, then I got inspired and I'm like, Amy, you just need to do it. And now I'm moving into vintage because I'm literally making 60 dolls a week.
Wow, and that's amazing.
I mean, it's like month after $60 a week. That's just like freaking insane. So I want to offset some stuff with offset with vintage because I want to go live with everyone that I love. And I'm like, yeah, let's do a live together. Okay, well, now I got to make, 15 or 20 more dolls this week. So now I can be like, okay, I can go live with as many people as I want because I can just supplement with vintage. So I'm just now starting to pick. And now I'm doing my videos on YouTube of my picking experiences. And so it's fun.
I really want to do, we've said this before, but I really want to do, because y'all know I love to craft too. Don't everybody freak out in the comments, but I would love to do like a crafting, like a live something with you sometime.
I would love that.
Whether it's like a cone doll, I'm down with it. Or
he likes his spun heads.
I do love a spun head like nobody's business.
Hey, I got all these old crafting books where you make the dolls and that style from back. Like, I want to do that on YouTube and we could maybe do it together. The ivory soap bottles, I got some. Like, I can send you one and we can make that together.
I'm down with it. I'm down.
Yay!
We definitely have to talk.
Okay.
Amy and I have a lot in common, especially with the toys and the dolls and just the Little Mermaid. I mean, everything.
Every day after school, I had to watch that in high school. Every day I came home, I have to watch The Little Mermaid.
I love The Little Mermaid.
That would be fun.
All right, Marion lady, what about you? What got you started in selling?
Well, I've always loved antiques. My mom's a big antique person and my grandmother, and I've inherited a lot of great family antiques. And just always, also I worked in music and also used to nanny. And what got me really into selling was when I moved down to Colorado Springs from Denver about 3 years ago, we bought a bigger home. So we started, thrifting, antiquing, estate sailing to basically fill the house. And then we filled the house, filled the garage, got a storage unit kind of thing. And I actually had an antique booth here in Colorado Springs for over a year. And once the pandemic hit, I was just kind of trying to figure out how to pivot that business, because a lot of my buyers, I always had my Mid-Mod Marion Instagram since 2008, kind of documenting our home renovation here, picking, furniture and accessories for our home. And then was like, maybe I'll try an e-commerce website and sell some things. Did that, really didn't understand how to ship properly. And I had an item break and it crushed my soul.
Yeah.
And it didn't really, the person was very upset. And so it just really hurt me kind of, and so I got an antique booth, did the antique booth. And then the pandemic hit, they closed. And I was just trying to figure out, everyone keeps asking me on Instagram, do you ship? And I'm like, no, because I'm too scared to ship. And basically I found Sarah Coleman, the vintage shop coach, her Instagram about last fall in September, and got her services. And she basically told me how all the secrets to selling on Instagram and how to ship properly. And I can say to this day, over 400 invoices later, I've only broken one thing, and it wasn't me, it was the post office. So, from, becoming great friends with Sarah and using the vintage shop coach, it really helped transform my business. I've only been selling online since September last year, and it's just kind of exploded, and it's just been really fun. And I just enjoy, getting to know my buyers and the whole vintage community and the ISN network over on Instagram. It's just been really fun. And then a few months ago, pivoting to live sales, and now, actually just having my first, oh, thank you. Yes, it was at Willowstone.
And what? Yvonne got to shop at Marion's booth?
Yes, she actually has a booth there too. So
she has an amazing booth.
Oh, stop. Yeah. You guys go.
So, but my buyers really for my eye of stuff really weren't coming to my booth. I was selling things that were incredible for nothing. And, and still having to pay the fee and everything for the monthly booth. And, finding Instagram was just so amazing because it's a great platform. I don't have to pay any fees. No one's taking money from me, so it's just really been amazing. And I've made great friends, and it's, I'm starting to do more live sales. And then now doing my YouTube channel, my husband and I are in July and August are going to hit the road and are going to pick our way to California, Oregon, and Washington. And we're going to document that journey on our YouTube and do live sales. Yes, my first sale was with Michelle. It was amazing. So we had a great time. And, so it's been just such a whirlwind, really fast moving thing, so it's been really fun. So that's how I started selling, and to branch out here on YouTube and do live sales here. So, and we have one coming up, so that's going to be fun. So, so yeah, that's go ahead.
Well, not to put you on the spot, but I guess to put you on the spot, since actually, I don't think we've had any Instagram sellers on since we've started having the YouTube live sales. I think, Marion, you're the first quote unquote Instagram seller that's been on Rescue Squad since they've started selling with us.
Yeah.
So
because Sarah had one with me that Wednesday after. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what did you think you know, and you don't have to give away anything, you know, but did you notice, was there any big differences for you so far as selling on Instagram Live, not static, but Instagram Live versus YouTube Live? Did it feel any different to you? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, totally. It's luckily a lot of the buyers have crossed over. So a lot of buyers who are buying on YouTube are on Instagram as well, buying from us, which is great. So you do see the same people in the comments. The platform's a little different because everything's backwards, you know.
Yeah.
So that was kind of getting used to.
However,
Amy,
once you meet that once you get monetized on YouTube, basically once you've, you know, got your 1,000 subscribers and all your watch hours, you can go live if you have a solo sale using your phone, and then it's normal.
Way easy.
You don't have to use StreamYard.
Amy, have you used StreamYard yet?
I did a StreamYard YouTube sale with Toledo Antiques.
Okay, so you know
Love
everything.
Toledo.
Like, wait, where am I at going with this?
And I'm doing
It's
that
bizarre,
now. I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, it's
Yes,
different.
like I'm pointing where I
Yeah,
see
like,
I'm pointing towards
I
Michael.
think I'm pointing this way, but I'm not.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all
pointing the other way.
it's a mirror image.
But only up and down. Only up and down. That's the only thing, which is weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just, and I'm really glad that I think that, I don't know. I think that we should be a community versus like an Instagram or a YouTube, because at the end of the day, you know, we are a vintage community. And I think that is the universal binding thing, regardless of what platform we've started on, or because I see a lot of people say, oh, I didn't know you could buy on Instagram. And then I see Instagramers being like, oh, well, I didn't know you could buy on YouTube. Guess what? You can buy on both. And I think that's the importance of it. Too. And I will just say this really quickly, is that I know that a lot of people have commented specifically about The.Cult.Of.Vintage, and I've been very like tongue-in-cheek about it. But at the end of the day, that really is what the name was about, is that I know that the word cult can have negative connotations, but if we choose to view it negatively, it is negatively. But for me, it was a positive thing, and the shared mindset that we all have, everybody here on this screen, everybody in the chat, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Instagram, is that we love vintage, we love antiques. Amy, we love to craft and make with those things. It creates we take inspiration from those things that would be thrown away, and we turn them into something new and bring them new life. And when we buy something that's chipped or cracked, we still see the value in it because we see the history of it, and we pass it on, and somebody else buys it and shares it and loves it, and hopefully then they get to pass it on. And that is the shared mindset. Well, I try to be positive. I'm not always positive, but that's kind of the idea and the importance to bringing everybody, I think, together. Yes, I told you I work for the church. You all wonder where I got it from? Well,
it can be short for culture too, you know.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy.
Right. That's right. Yvonne she brought up Facebook too. I know that Thrift U is doing live sales on Facebook. And and I, you know, when you are on someone asked, what is StreamYard? StreamYard is basically the platform, like it's enabling us to stream 4 of us here at the same time. So it's just like a program or a software that we can stream more than one person at once. But I know that Fatbird Finds will stream via both YouTube and Facebook, because you can do that. When we're on Vintage Rescue Squad on my channel, I do stream both on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. But I haven't done the sales that way, because then that causes a whole big jumble, because some people are buying from Facebook, but yet the people that are on YouTube can't see the bids that are coming in from Facebook. So I think if you're going to do a Facebook Live, it needs to be solely, you know, if you're going to sell a lot of things, solely on Facebook or solely on YouTube, because that would be confusing to me.
True enough. Like that's my problem is it's like I don't know how you do because you started streaming when it's on your channel. You started streaming the live sales on Facebook too, yeah or no? You were doing
No,
Vintage Rescue Squad. You were just
just
doing
the
Vintage
rescue
Rescue,
squad.
just the Rescue Squad.
Yeah, just the rescue squad.
So what do you ladies? Daniel has a question. Like, what would you say? You guys started with statics, obviously, because when did live sales start? Do we know? Sarah,
Maybe
when
Sarah
did-
can chime in.
Yeah. So what do you guys think?
I mean, I am partial to live sales just because I think the buyers really love that engagement.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a magical thing where you might have stuff out statically and it doesn't move, but you show it on a live sale and you are interacting with people that enjoy you, and then they are excited, they become excited about the item. So I think it's kind of a magical thing. So Daniel, if you ever want to go live, I'm booking for July. I would love to have you. I love taking new people in, and doing live sales is exciting for me. So
That would be a good combo.
what about you, Marion? What's your opinion on it?
I like both. I like in ISN we do group sales every month and sell under a certain hashtag, and I think those are really fun and easy for me because sometimes I'm still getting used to being in front of the camera and stuff like that. So I'm a little more shy. So I like those, but I'm getting better at it, and it's really
You're a pro, Marion. You are such a pro.
I've got it's luckily everyone I've had a sale of starting to branch out more. And so I'm feeling more comfortable with it. And again, I think my music experience working with people, I feel like, I can talk to anyone about anything. And, so it does feel, it's getting more natural and stuff like that. And yes, I agree with Sarah. Amy's been such a great mentor for new shops. And before I did mine, I watched a ton of Amy's sales and Sarah, all their, just to like get like the flow of it and stuff like that. And but I like both, but I definitely do like live sales because you don't have to take all those pictures.
Exactly.
It is a little quicker to get ready for one, it takes a lot goes into doing a stagnant sale with photographs, description, spelling,
Oh,
Yeah.
spelling, no.
So on a live sale, I can just feel like I'm Vanna White, I'm
Yes.
just
Well, and the engagement is so fun too because you are directly talking to your customer.
Yes.
And you can talk about, and if something has a boo-boo, if something has a flaw or a boo-boo or a flea bite or something, you can talk about it, you can explain it. You can't do that necessarily. I mean, you can show a picture of it for Facebook with a pencil pointing to it, but and I like to I'm very passionate about a lot of the things that I sell, that they still have life, they still have purpose. It has a little crack in it. It still is valuable. I mean, it may not still be as valuable as it once was, but it still has value as far as home decor. And sometimes you just really love the aesthetic of something.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think it was interesting, the comment earlier was that it's very much, it almost is like a modern day QVC.
It is.
I mean, obviously for vintage and antique goods, but it's like there's a connection, I guess. It's not just like eBay, which who doesn't love eBay? I am guilty of being up till 1 o'clock in the morning being like, oh, I need to really stop looking at stuff.
Oh yeah.
I do it all the time. But there's just something, what's quite frankly, it's personable. You get to know the individual and it's, well, were we saying that before we went live or after we went live? Like selling the pen?
Oh, yes, before.
Because it's like, you can because we were talking about static versus live sales. And it's kind of like, you can take the picture and there's a pen. But what distinguishes that pen is Marion, it's Amy, it's Misty, it's Michael, it's Michelle. It's the person who's selling it that ultimately ends up being like, oh, that pen's different. And I know that sounds crazy because we know it's just a pen, but it really is, you're buying from an individual versus...
And Michael, I've had this conversation with Michael so many times. It's very, very odd sometimes when something sells, and then people say, well, they bought it because they're buying it from you. But then I'm like, well, why does that matter? You know what I mean?
But people
It
want to
is,
support you. If they like you, they want to support you.
it is, but that's still such an odd feeling, you know. I mean, when I first had something that sold for more than market value, I was very upset. Michael can attest to this. I messaged him and I could not sleep. It bothered me so bad, and he just kind of counseled me through it. But it is a very it's a very different feeling, and you want, like, I want to be fair, but when something is selling for more than what you ever thought that it would, it's different. It's a different
I feel you
feeling.
on that. And I have
You
gone
hardly
to,
want to like jump up and down and be like, oh my gosh, but then you're
yeah,
like, no, I don't know.
especially during times when people were out of work last year, I went through that because I'm like, can these people really be spending this kind of money? Like, it made me feel bad.
Yes. Yeah.
And I had to just be like, they're doing this because they want to, and it's okay. You know, I had to go through all of that. But I will go into sales of people that I like and want to support, and I will spend my money there because I want to support them as a buyer, so I can also see that side of it. Yeah.
Otromon, I met him today. He came to my shop.
He was
Oh my
shopping.
goodness.
Yes.
That is, you know what, Amy? And I think it's that last sentence. It's something you cannot put a literal price on. And that is something I would tell. It's, you know, because there are, in instances, there are hundreds and sometimes there are thousands of miles that quite literally separate us. And it seems so, and I think that we all know that, but money is money. But at the same time, when so much distance can separate us, that, you know, we can say we love you and we can give you a thumbs up and we can watch your video, but at the end of the day, if I can help you pay your bill at the end of the day and keep this channel going by giving you extra, then so be it. That's all well and good, and that is the truth, what Misty said. But then all of a sudden, you know, and then it happens to you and you're like, oh, wait a minute, this is wrong. I don't feel right about it.
Yeah.
But I do have a question though for, like, Amy, okay, so you have started to sell, obviously you have your dolls, which you have made yourself, versus now selling like items that you have sourced.
Mm-hmm.
In regards to people, I'm trying to remember, you do offer ups on the dolls also, right?
Yeah, everything I do is I show the item, and if more than one person is interested, it turns into an auction. So I do that pretty much on everything. Sometimes I will have some of my husband's memorabilia, and I'll be like, these are fast claims, you know. And sometimes I do that. If I have a really big sale, I'll be like, okay, I've got $3 that I'm going to do fast claims on. But
You know
for
what?
the most part, it's auction. Sometimes it'll be a slow sale and nobody else claims it and they get it for that base price. So, and I try, like, my goal is to try to do one static sale every 2 months. Static sales, it's just a lot to do all the listings when I'm already manufacturing everything myself too. But I did one recently and I want to try to do it every 2 months just to give people the opportunity to just go in and shop. So that's my goal. I'm just trying to get myself organized.
Do you find it easier to accept higher bids? And I'll be truthful. Like when I do like my wreaths, it's very flattering, and I know this is going to sound weird, but like if I go out to a store and I find something and it would sell for $200, I'm like, oh. But if I put the time and the effort into making something and it sells for $200, then I'm like, yeah, this was awesome. I feel so proud. Do you find that difference between something you've made versus something you've sourced when the prices start to go up?
I mean, yeah, like I struggle with what I feel the item is worth, considering what money I spent and the items I sourced to put into it and the time I invested in it as well. And it's like I started out selling my stuff really inexpensively because I wanted people just to be able to afford them and bring them joy during the pandemic. But as things rolled on, and then my items became more and more popular and in demand, it's like I had to struggle with all of that and come to terms with the fact that it's okay, because when I sold dolls before, I didn't think about, well, I'm selling this for $150 and that makes me feel guilty. But it's because I know a lot of these people, I have relationships with them. It's different when they're just total strangers sometimes. But I've grown into being okay with it, because if I take a pose doll and I strip it down and I recostume it, and I know I've put 3 hours into this doll, and I started at $75, then it goes up to $250. I feel like it really was worth that, because this is a one of a kind piece and I created all the costuming myself. Then I feel like it was worth it, and not, if I sell it for 75, that's fine. But if I get $250 for it, I feel like that's really what it would go at a doll show, that's what it would go for. So yeah, it's a complicated thing, and I do struggle with it too. I'm just trying to be like the business person, be like, it's okay. But Sarah from the Traveling Button can tell you how I've struggled with all of that stuff myself. And even with my husband's merchandise and the stuff I upcycle, sometimes I do ceramic frog banks and put a mustache on them. And one of our favorite fans / friends / buyers bid it up. I think I started it at $50 and it went to something like $675. And it was kind of freaky. It kind of freaked me out, but I'm like, Carol wants to do this. Like, this is what she wants to do. And she knows that this is our full-time job right now. He's signing, I'm making, and we're not working outside of the home. So she knows that she's helping us, to get through this time. And so then I'm like, okay, but I still am like, so I can talk a big talk, but I struggle with it.
Yeah. It always, Marion, do you ever struggle with pricing going above what?
I'm here for it. Just because I'm more sourcing, not crafting or creating. I am curating sales. So I do put a lot of energy into picking my 15 to 20 items, making sure there is a theme. I always want a piece of Viking. I always want a piece of Pyrex, like everyone kind of knows my signature things I sell, and it's only really happened on lives, because when I was doing static sales, I'd have 10 backups on an item, and I'm like, I really hope, and then I get this messages, I really wanted that, and like, so that's why I think the transition to lives has been so great, because now that person who really wanted it and who's willing to pay can have that item, and it to me, this is my full-time job. Doing this and transitioning to all in mid-mod Marion and, selling vintage and stuff like that. So it's exciting and scary, and, seeing those really high numbers, but my buyers are so faithful and they're so awesome. And again, they, like Amy was saying, they want to support me. They're buying not just, a fairy lamp or something. They're buying a piece of mid-mod Marion. A lot of things I sell do come from my personal collection. I've maybe had them for a year. Now I'm doing a new thing, or I'm into this and we're going to get rid of that. And, it's just thrilling, and it just gets you, you just get that like shot of adrenaline when something goes over $100, and, it's really exciting. And again, it's, helping me expand my business more. And, I'm sure with Amy, is a lot of the money we make, we're putting right back into this business.
Absolutely.
It's buying your crafting, piece of furniture. Same with this,
this
have
to reinvest.
Yes.
You have to reinvest in your business.
And it's kind of a whole circle thing though too, because like I know, Marion, you're going to antique malls, you're going to flea markets, so you yourself are going out, you're supporting a small business. That person that's in that antique booth, they're paying booth rent, they're supporting a small business. So it's just nice how the whole thing just kind of goes around. And honestly, and I say this a lot, if someone buys something from me and then they want to resell it, that's great. I mean, that's just that's just what we do.
Yes, please. I have tons of buyers, especially on the West Coast and the East Coast, who I know are resellers. Like they have real mid-century furniture stores, and I buy low, I sell mid, and I know they're selling very high. And I'm all here for it. It's like when
it's impossible to find in the East Coast.
Well, and we're very lucky here in Colorado Springs, because it's such a with the military and the Air Force Academy, a lot of people retire here. I do go up to Denver and thrift occasionally there. A lot of more antique malls up there, but here it's just a little treasure trove, and I'm a thrifter, so I will hit up when I'm thrifting. Tuesday through Friday, I'm hitting up 12 stores a day, and some of them twice. So
you're spending gas.
Oh,
your time. And a lot of people I think they don't realize the amount of time that goes into doing this. And so that I think sometimes gets forgotten. They think, oh, you're just standing up there selling these things and that's all you're doing. No, it isn't.
Yeah. Estate sales, I'm in line 3 hours early. Like I am there, and I don't play the bag game. I stand there. You know what I mean? And so I estate sale real hard here as well. Besides thrifting and antiquing and stuff like that. And, but yeah, it's a game.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And I played sports as a kid, so I like being a winner. So I'm like, when there's something that goes up on estatesales.net and a sale, and I'm like, oh, I need that. Like my husband, I'm like, okay, we're getting up at 5 a.m. We're gonna go stay. And then I end up usually keeping it.
Well, and I think sometimes something that we can talk about a little bit too is we talked about, what it takes to, what all we do and to prepare for the live sales. It does take hours get ready for the live sale. It takes hours to pack things. It sometimes will take me, 8 to 10 hours in a day to pack, items from a live sale. So there are different aspects. There's etiquette, I guess you could say. There's good etiquette as far as being a seller and good etiquette as far as being a buyer. And I think that it's a definitely a great topic point, because, sometimes, I don't know if you guys in the Instagram community, but, there have been times when here in the YouTube community, people will bid up things. They'll buy things and then you don't get their information, or you don't hear from them, or they just completely ghost you. It doesn't happen to me a whole lot, but it does happen a lot in this community, and I hear about it a lot. And that's the thing though too, us as a community of resellers, if I have a bad experience with someone, I'm going to let like Michael know about it. I'm going to talk to my support system and let them know about it. So, I mean, it can trickle down, so if you're not treating your sellers right, it can trickle. It's a trickle.
We want to protect each other,
Right.
Just like you guys, if one of us was a bad seller, you would tell your friend, hey, don't shop with them. They never send the stuff or whatever.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a very important point though, Amy, is that it really is twofold. Is because, it is, obviously we're the ones up here talking about reselling. So of course, a lot of what we focus on is going to be the customer service aspect. So it isn't necessarily, like as Missy pointed out, it is important that when you commit to something that you follow through. And I think that any successful relationship thrives on one key thing, and that is communication. Mm-hmm. And a failure to communicate in any kind of relationship is going to break it down, and it dissolves it, whether you are buying or whether you are selling, there has to be communication. It has to be clear. It has to be consistent. And I think that was, you guys were talking about posting your shop rules and having that be a central location, a central focus, so that you can always say, oh no, see, I won't speak for you. Like, ladies, you have shop policies. Like, what are some of your shop policies that you implement, and are they universal on Instagram? Do they kind of fluctuate between stores, or do you as a network say, if you're going to be an ISN, these are things that you are going to have to provide as a seller?
I mean, we technically are supposed to invoice within 24 to 48 hours. Some of us are very overextended and we sometimes bend that, but our buyers know they can count on us. Like, for the first time I was a week late, and it's because I'm trying to reorganize my entire house. Right. Everyone knows that, and they've been very kind about it, but usually, 24 to 48 hours, ship within 7 days. Those are our standard ISN rules. Pay within 24 hours of receiving the invoice. As far as my personal shop rules, I probably couldn't quote them to you right now. They're just very standard. I've been very lucky in not having enough problems to have to make super strict rules, because my buyers have all been very kind. So, yeah, I mean, there have been a couple, but not enough for me to have like Sarah's list of her rules. That's the one that you should model yourself after, because she is covering every freaking base, but
she said,
I have a lot of
situation, new rule.
Yeah, exactly. I have a lot of trust right now, and it may bite me one day, but for right now it's just common courtesy and common, like, I don't have this thing that says no returns, because I don't want people to feel like they can't trust me, but I know I probably should have that. But it's like if someone receives this doll and watch me break something and the mustache is off, send it back to me and I'm going to pay for the shipping and I'm going to fix it for you. I mean, I've gone through a few things with trial and error, like only a certain kind of glue is going to stick to this plastic. So I had to figure that out. And, someone received with the vegan leather, I had to have E6000. I didn't know that. And all the trim fell off. You're going to send this back. I refunded it and I'm going to make you a new one with a new glue. But it's not like I want people to be like, you know what? I don't really like this color pink, so I changed my mind. Yeah. That's not okay, because I'm going to lose a ton of money having this shipped back.
And I think you're right. Having really good customer service is absolutely is very, very important. It's one of the most important things, I think. We hear our customers, we respond to our customers. And I think that is a great thing too, is communication. And I think that I had seen Stephanie had made the comment that if someone buys something from you and then you get an email and they're like, I bought this thing and can I pay you on Tuesday for it? Yeah. If you communicate that, odds are we're going to work with you. Yeah. Now we can't, I won't hold things for more than a week. Just simply because I have done that in the past and it's not ended well. Because then someone gets more and more and more and more and more, and then they have like a $400 bill, they owe you $400 for all of these things. And then they're like, oh, well, I can't pay that because they haven't kept track of everything. So I'm in the market.
Well, I can't keep it all.
Right. I'm in the market to sell it, send it, sell it, send it. I have to keep replenishing things, but communication is the key, I had an incident today that did not end very well. So communication is key.
I think another thing that people may not realize is how many people, how much is involved in that communicating, because I could literally sit on my couch all day long and respond to people if I let myself. But I have to start, responding on my watch as I'm doing other things and still do my other things, because I have not only all of my customers or just, followers that have questions or just want to comment, and I want to respond to everybody, whether it's a like on their comment or I'm going to answer everyone that writes me, and I'm going to do it pretty much as soon as I can. It's not going to be like 3 days from now, usually. If it's someone I know very well, then maybe, but I also have my husband's business and all of his fans. I handle all those messages, all those emails, his shop. Like, it's a lot. So yeah, I don't think people, because you think, we make everyone feel like you're the only person. And to me, when I'm talking to you, you are that special to me, but I also have 50 other people writing me today. So if I can't just chat back and forth a lot, it's because I've got all this in my life going on.
That's something that's definitely been a learning curve for me, is the whole communication thing. And I already know it. Like right now on YouTube, I have 2 videos that I haven't liked, I haven't replied to, and I just posted one today. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I made a post on Instagram, and then there's like the DMs that come in. There's the reply to that, and you're like, oh my gosh. And by the way, I have to go out and shop today. Missy's having some serious camera issues today. And it's like, you got to shop, you got to get ready for the sale. Oh, wait, I've got like quite literally hundreds of people to reply to. And you're like, what am I doing? Sometimes, and those are the moments that I'm like, can I really do this? You know what I mean? Like, it's the social aspect, but it's the social aspect that makes it so good.
Yeah, like I enjoy that, but I may not be able to accommodate it all in real time every day.
Yeah, I've definitely had to learn to create more boundaries, especially with the phone, So, I have also run social media accounts for certain things before. And so I, love Instagram. I've been on it since the beginning of it. And it's so fun to like now have a business on it, but really trying to set more boundaries, like, okay, don't pick up your phone before 10 a.m. or like, but I mean, it's those boundaries I break every day. So it's, it's hard, but I feel like I'm getting better and getting more of a flow, and definitely with these, making sure my schedule is a certain way. And, I like this past week, I had 3 sales. That was the first time I ever had 3 sales in a week. And it was really overwhelming because it's, it was over 50 packages. And I sent 2 Fire King mugs to 2 different people this week. And today I had to send them rebuy labels, send them the right labels. And they've been so nice and, understanding that I did that. But, learning, trying not to make those mistakes, and, just really trying to get everything organized. That's one thing. My husband's so organized. I am not as organized. And so making sure my calendar's set and, just having a schedule.
And for that is key, is having a calendar and having a schedule and writing a to-do list. And I have ADHD. So my to-do list, like I will like look at a Post-it note that has like, call the doctor, make an eye appointment. And I'm like, I'll do you in a minute. And then it doesn't happen,
Right.
So I have multiple notes everywhere. And sometimes they need Michael and Michelle. Misty, did you take your medicine? Misty, did you call the doctor? Misty, did you, because we are constantly just go, 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 go. And when you're shipping out, 80 to 100 packages a week, it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of time from other things. And your family, you do a lot of sacrifices are made, and you hate that. But at the same time, you kind of have to keep doing it. You have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a blessing and a curse, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I guess I do need to get a calendar. Maybe that's why I don't ever know what day it is. It's because I don't own an actual calendar. I write things down like the sales and blah, 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 but I don't own a calendar. Maybe if I got a calendar, I would actually know, oh, today is actually Tuesday.
Yeah, but you have to look at the right month, though.
Today's Monday.
Yeah.
But you have to look at the right month.
Calendar. I like to write things down.
Oh, I do
and
too.
I like to highlight and color code.
Yes. Put stickers on it, and I do that too. But sometimes I'll have like July open because I'm looking ahead at July, and then I'm like talking about stuff that's still happening in June, and I'm like, wait a minute, I wrote this in July, and it's June.
Mm-hmm.
So
So I mean, okay. Well, let me ask you this: what are your guys' policies? Because I'm really interested in knowing this because I'm nosy. But like, how long do you said 24 hours to pay, or was that to invoice for you guys?
That was to pay. It's supposed to be 24 to 48 hours to invoice on it. In a typical week that wasn't like this past couple of weeks for me, I will invoice at the end of my run of shows. So if I have 4 shows that week or 3 shows that week, it's going to be shows, sales, whatever. I will invoice the day after the last sale. That's how I do mine. And then it had always been I'm shipping on Thursdays. Thursdays became Fridays and Fridays became Saturdays. And that's all been because of me trying to finally catch up on my real life and get this house in order and then have a proper studio and a proper shipping and receiving area instead of it all just piling up in my home. So I've had to force myself to take this time off, get everything in its place so then I can maintain it. Because when all the stuff is coming into the house, yeah, there's stuff going out, but there's still more stuff coming in. And then I'm crafting. And then I haven't done this task or that task, and it's all just piling up. So getting all that. And then I'm going to go back to the shipping on Thursdays. You know, I just ship once a week because I am manufacturing. It'll still be most of my inventory. But for a little while, I'm going to be doing less handmade, more vintage, because I'm still trying to get everything organized. And then I'm hoping by August, I'm going to be full back in, committed, doing 3 or 4 sales a week and getting ready for Halloween and Christmas and all those fun ones.
Gosh, I can't wait for your Halloween.
I can't wait.
Yeah. I think one of the most important things that you can do for yourself as a reseller is if you can come up with some little area, like I'm very blessed to have the space that I have with having the building, but I did my full-time reselling business out of my dining room for 2 years or so. So I mean, mine really technically wasn't dedicated, but I had it to where I could leave things out. Like I could leave my bubble. You have to have some sort of dedicated space, whether that be in a closet that you keep all of your supplies in and you pull out tubs. I think that is just key in order for you not to stress out over shipping.
Yeah.
Because shipping is the major thing. Michael, you had highlighted something that if you don't have the money, don't buy it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, you know what? Hey, look, life is life, and let's be real. At the end of the day, we've all been in those situations where we have put our wants ahead of our needs. We've all done that. But the difference is that hopefully when we are doing that, we are only affecting ourselves. The problem is that when you are buying from an individual, you can affect us in a way, like specifically, like if your reseller is doing this full time and they're quite literally doing this to pay their bills, you have now affected their ability to pay a bill. So it is detrimental to them as a human being and not just as a business. This isn't Walmart where you decided that you're going to go ahead and buy the $400 flat screen TV when in reality, that $400 needed to go to your rent. That's going to affect you and your landlord, don't get me wrong.
Or when they already have the item and then they cancel the payment or they don't pay for the thing. Don't even get me started on that. I could go on and on and on about that today. That's the day I've had today.
Misty going through it. She having one of those days.
Yes.
Have you guys ever dealt with Marion, I think I asked you that earlier. And Amy, I'm curious to know this because I have. Have you ever sent well, no, I know Marion's answer. But have you ever sent an item out to somebody that you thought paid, but they did not?
I have not had that happen, but I did have, it was a repaint. So I had like a celluloid type deer. And I don't know if you ever tried to repaint any of this stuff. It takes like 10 freaking coats of acrylic if you're not airbrushing, which I'm going to try to experiment with airbrushing. But
don't you have MSC?
Have what?
MSC.
What is that?
Mr. Super Clear Coat.
No. Does that
Oh,
make it all?
honey.
Okay. You spray it down with that
Mr.
first.
Super Clear Coat.
Okay,
That
well,
sounds
we're
like
going to talk later.
that sounds like a
And then
party.
we were going to talk about this later.
Yeah, because I spent, hours trying to paint this deer pink, and I paid, and because I was in quarantine because my husband was high risk with lung disease, I couldn't go out and shop anywhere. So I'm paying eBay and Etsy prices on everything I'm getting. So I paid $25 for this deer, but I thought it was ugly. It was an ugly color. Its eyes were weird. So I repainted it pink and made it kitschy and turquoise eyes and all the stuff. And I had it for $50. And the person bought it, and someone who had bought from me a few times. And then she got it and said, I don't want to insult you or anything, but why was this $50? Because once I've received it, I really don't see that it's worth $50.
Ouch.
And I'm telling you, as an artist, I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
like I'm about to cry, So, but then there's that part of me that's like, wait a minute, somebody already warned me about you, and you did the same thing on a $50 item to them. So Amy's not playing that. So I said, this is a one-of-a-kind item. I said, I spent $25 on this item. And then I spent 4 hours repainting this item. And so if you divide 25 by 4, how much is that? I don't remember, but 25 by 4, are you saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you saying that my time being paid per hour is not worth, $4.50 or whatever an hour? And then she's like, oh, like I didn't realize. I said, this was a vintage deer. She claimed she didn't know that it was vintage, like all this stuff. But I just kind of I give people reality checks. I do that in my husband's business as well. I try to bring, you can keep one foot in the clouds and you can have that fantasy, but you're going to keep one foot grounded in reality. We're human beings. This is how it really is. Be mindful of us as human beings. So I laid all that out, and really what she was wanting, because I said, it's not right for you to want to return this item and everything. If you want to return it, that's fine, but you're paying for shipping in this case. Now, that's not how I would treat every customer, but this customer is a little bit scammy. I said, you can pay for the shipping and I'll refund you for the item. No, she didn't want that. She wanted to keep the item, but wanted me to refund part of the price.
Nope.
And that's what she did to Sarah. So I already knew this was, and I'm like, Sarah warned me about her, but she already bought this and this from me. So, I'm just waiting to have my own experience, and here I am.
That's what's going on in our in the YouTube realm as well right now.
So she kept the item and then blocked me. But I've got more. These are my only really 2 incidences. I'm blessed. But the other one was a fan of my husband, and she literally, when I started out selling on Etsy first in September of last year, every doll I posted, I might list 10 that day, she's in there buying them all. And it really made me uncomfortable. God bless her. Yeah. She helped me get started, but I felt like there was maybe a shopping addiction going on. Mm-hmm. And no one else could get my dolls. And then I got invited to do this virtual Christmas market. And I'm like,
I remember that.
Yeah, I have this virtual Christmas market, but the way they work is they're going to link to my shop. Well, how am I going to have anything available? Because it runs for a month. How am I going to have items for sale when this woman is going to buy every one of them? So I'm never going to expand my business. What am I going to do? So I made a website and I created a secret shop that she didn't know about. And I had all this set up so she couldn't buy them all because she didn't know about that website yet. But once I started doing live sales, she came in and ran up during that course of me having 3 or 4 sales that week, it was a $500 invoice. And she always paid. And so I'm at that point, I'm kind of okay, I'm just going to accept. This makes her happy. I'm not going to stress over it anymore. And then she's like, my husband won't let me pay the invoice. And I mean, she bid these items up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but I used it as a teachable moment. I'm like, okay, I will let you out of this invoice, but no more live sales for you. Because I have been concerned that you had a spending problem and this makes me uncomfortable. So you can buy something from my shop, static, but no more live sales. And she said, okay, fine. And then she had bid one of my kitschy Santa Claus hats up really high. And I said, just for this one time, I will let you have it at the base price, but that's it. And then she's like, well, my husband won't even let me do that. I said, okay, fine. I turned it around, went and sold all the stuff to the next person that was interested. I still, made my money, but it was a hassle. And then I thought she was going to go away, but then she came back and it was like, I want 2 Kitschmas hats. And I'm like, but you said your husband said you can't buy anymore. Oh, well, I sold some of my stuff, so now I can afford it. And then she sets up shop and she's selling my dolls like 5 months later.
Are you serious?
I remember this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this was like, I knew this was going to come.
Credit? And she wasn't giving you credit. She wasn't
crediting me at first.
Yeah.
And I came in there and I said, you can sell this stuff if you want, but please say these are Amy's Rock and Pop Shop dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And she like tried to be a vintage seller, and then she didn't follow through with some people and they started complaining about her in ISN. So then I came forward with my story, like, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea. So then she changed her name. She's changed her shop name like 2 or 3 times to try to fool people. But I bought, some of my buyers bought some of the dolls back. And then I finally approached her and said, look, you don't have the time to create all these listings for these dolls. Why don't I just pay you what you paid me? I will buy these dolls back. And she didn't sell all of them back because she has 100 of them, I think. But I bought a selection of them back, and then I turned around, and resold them as the rescued dolls. But it really, like, the whole situation freaked me out. It caused me to just distress. My husband was like, I want you to stop doing business with this woman. I'm like, I can't stop her. What am I supposed to do? But I kept waiting for that other ball to drop because she did things like tell me that her packages were getting stolen. And it would be like, she just spent $300 on my dolls that I make these amazing, like, crystal ball looking dolls with Monster High and lights and all this stuff at Halloween. And like, I don't want to have to remake that. And I'm like, I don't believe this. Like, I don't know. I don't believe that she doesn't have the package. And so I literally called her local post office and gave them the tracking number, and they produced the package in their hands after she told me her husband already went there and picked up every package. And I handled it like, I'm like, guess what? Great news. Your post office does have the package. Oh, because I'm like, no, I'm not playing this. You're not pulling anything over on me. Mm-hmm. And then there's this other doll I'm looking to see. She said it arrived with a broken head. And that was one of the dolls I bought back. And then she shows me the box had a hole punched in it, but it's like she was trying to pull something over.
Right.
So I kept waiting like for that other ball to drop. And back last fall, we were not financially doing that well because we were out of work completely. Right. And I counted on that money, and I'm like, I can't afford to have to give her a refund right now. Yeah. Now I'm more successful and I'm in a better place, but it scared me. I was always like, ugh. And so one of the dolls she sold me back was the broken head doll. And I unpackaged this stuff on a live unboxing. And it had a dirty Q-tip inside of it.
What?
I'm like, oh my God. And it looks like it had been stuck in her ear. I'm not kidding you. She used it to like put the head on one end of the Q-tip and the other part in the body. And it's like, ah. But I was so traumatized. I did a whole story with like my dolls in a dungeon.
Oh, no.
Please rescue me. Yeah. Anyway, bless her heart. But yeah, that's my nightmare experience. But I found no, I can't say that on here. But anyway, go ahead.
The beauty of having live sales is that if something someone was talking about things that are damaged, if something has a damage or a flaw, you're pointing it out. And if someone says, oh, I got this and it was damaged, and then you're like, yeah, I know. And then you send them the timestamp of where you pointed that out in the video that it had this damage or this flaw. So, I mean, I know that things can get broken in shipping and this, that, and the other, but you always, they have to provide you photos. And then you send those, don't give a refund until you get those photos. And then you can file a claim with USPS, which is not as easy as it once used to be. But you can still do that if you have shipping of it. But yeah, people who, oh God, I'm not.
Well, this is the thing.
It's been a day. It's been a
I
day
think,
today.
I think a lot of you guys know that I do work. I am a full-time retail manager. So to say that I'm used to these things occurring daily, I already deal with it. It's what I'm paid to deal with.
Yeah.
So it's very obvious to me when I feel like people are trying to manipulate a situation to benefit themselves, whether it's instead of just saying, I feel like I overpaid for this. Yes, there have been times when I have felt people have been like, well, this came checked. And not when there's legitimate things that you can clearly identify and there are buyers that that you're like, oh my gosh, I need to take care of that for you. No question asked.
Well,
but
and we all miss things. We do miss things.
Sure.
Sometimes. Absolutely. We do make mistakes.
Yeah, because we are human.
Yes.
Oh, I never forgot about that.
Switching packages. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting because, well, I'll go ahead and I'll be 100% truthful. It's a conversation that Missy and Michelle and I have had. And, for me, it is the worst thing in dealing with that position is having to swallow a pill, knowing that somebody's bald-faced lying to you, but you're doing it to provide a good customer service experience.
Right.
And in entering into this world, I know that feeling. I know that feeling of being an employee that has to put the dollar before my own integrity and self-respect because I work for somebody else. But here, I don't work for somebody. This is me. And each of these ladies or any of the other gentlemen that are selling, these are real people and they should not. And I will fight for this, even if I'm the only voice doing it, because as Amy said, sometimes you're paying bills and I don't want to see any of these people feel like they have to put a dollar before their own self-respect, their own dignity, because they fear, oh, well, this person's going to say this about me because I didn't provide good customer service. It's not right. I'm not about that. And I would never, irregardless of whether you sell on Instagram or YouTube, it's the same situation. So I enter into this wanting to make sure that I am not continuing that because that's what I'm trying to get away with. And I don't want to see people that I call a friend or care about have to do that same thing because they're like, well, I have to put the dollar first and you shouldn't have to. It's not fair.
Yeah. Especially after someone, when you send you send someone something, they've paid for it. Also, I do want to say, this is just this is a PSA, public service announcement, because it's something that had happened to me today. That is something, if you are using PayPal, make sure that you double and triple check if someone has paid you via a e-check. Because it doesn't show up in big bold letters. It doesn't have a little flag next to it. I see someone has paid me through PayPal. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna send them I'm gonna get their stuff. I'm gonna print off their label and I'm gonna send it because I ship, I ship on Thursdays. But if they pay through e-check, it's showing up that they've paid. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and send it out. But you have to wait 6 days for the check to clear. So that's what happened. And the person didn't see it in their accounts. And so then they went in and they canceled the invoice. And I don't know how they could, I guess because it was still pending, but they already have my product that I've sent to them, $85 worth of item that I have sent to them. And then they say, well, if you want to send me an invoice, I'll pay you the second week of July. No, you already have the product. So I'm in discussions with PayPal right now about it, but yeah.
Well, another thing I want to mention to buyers, if you have an issue with a seller, please communicate to that seller directly before you go and file a complaint with PayPal, because you could literally ruin our businesses by having us locked out of PayPal because of complaints. And this just happened in my husband's shop where someone never even wrote to me. We've fallen behind because he signs everything, and we've had overwhelming amounts of orders because of, you know, what's going on in the world. And it's like, just reach out so one of us can just work it out with you, and we will. You don't need to go, because a lot of people don't realize that they go straight to PayPal. They think that's what they're supposed to do. Contact your seller directly, and then let us resolve things for you.
I'm gonna just highlight this comment. Y'all might be a little surprised by it, but I love your customer service morals. But another reseller said, well, you know, but here's the thing. The reason that I approach it like that is because I do approach it from a customer standpoint, and I know what it is that I want from my seller. And because I know what it is that I want from my seller, that's what I provide to you as a seller. So it's not a one-way street. It very much is a two-way street. This isn't just me coming at you as a reseller. This is, again, any successful relationship, as Amy was just saying, is a two-way street. It is communication, and that communication occurs both on the selling and on the buying side. So I hope that helps you figure that one out, Jason.
Yep. Communication. If someone communicates with me, I absolutely 100% will work with them.
Yes.
Absolutely. But if you tell me after the fact X, Y, and Z, and you have what you've ordered from me,
right,
and you haven't paid for it, I'm sorry. We need it. It's been a day for Misty.
And we needed the seller support group.
Well, we kind of already have one. I mean, honestly, I mean, and I think that's
it's just
wonderful
not like
thing.
official.
It's not an official thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what, Roller Girl, that's completely right. And that's the thing. Sometimes, you know, that's the important thing, though, of if you see something and you're like, well, the seller didn't tell me, and that was what Amy was selling, instead of just saying, I'm going to dispute it, I can guarantee you, if you reach out to a seller being like, hey, there's a crack in this and it wasn't described, my first reaction is like, oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah.
How, you know, like, I need to take care of this.
Yeah, we'll want to make it right.
Absolutely. We want to make it right. Absolutely.
I ship mostly breakables, glassware, you know, kitchen items, big Pyrex, you know, and I've been really fortunate that, you know, over the last, you know, 8 months, I've only had one break. And again, it's just communication with the seller, letting them know, you know, like what we can do, obviously refunding and stuff like that, or a shop credit, you know, and like, those are things that yes, honestly, honesty is definitely the best policy. And, and that's kind of one thing I do like about live selling is when I'm showing items on a live sale, I notice things more than I would have if I was just going to take a photo of it and post it, you know, and being totally transparent with vintage condition, you know, of items and stuff like that. You know, it's, you know, again, having those shop policies also really helps, you know, and before every sale I have live or stagnant, you know, a couple hours before, I always post my shop policies so my buyers can know. And I have my own hashtag MMM policies that people can always refer back to see what, you know, my shop is, how I work, you know. And again, I've been very fortunate. I've only really had to block one person because of attitude, you know, and you know, we're here giving everything to our customers, and you know, it's hard. You know, you know, we put ourselves out there, so when someone does do something to us, it does, you know, it affects us. You know, it affects my mood or whatever. You know, and again, I've been lucky. I've only had to deal with a handful of things, in the last 8 months or so selling online. But I think, having those straightforward policies really helps buyers and sellers, so, and also with payments, I do the 24 to 48 hour payments on my shop, but I do have a handful of customers that I will keep open end boxes for, or who I know will always pay, but it might take them a week, but they really wanted the item, and again, that comes back what Misty was saying is communication. If you communicate with me, I will work with you 100%.
Yep.
But it's like the people who claim and then won't pay or whatever, and then are rude, it's kind of like, I didn't do anything. I'm just trying to sell things. So,
and I want to say too, if you are a buyer and you haven't gotten an invoice emailed to you, always go and check your spam every once in a while, because I do know that sometimes your invoice will go to your spam folder. And I know that sometimes some buyers are like, I haven't gotten it. And this just happened to me. I haven't gotten an email. I got the email wrong. And that happens.
Yeah.
I didn't have a letter or something. So that happens. So I think grace on both sides of the aisle. I mean, life happens to a buyer. Absolutely. We understand that. I know we're all human. Things come up, things happen. We have a real life too. I mean, so if you don't get an invoice right away, or if your shipping is delayed a little bit, or this, that, or the other, I think allowing each other a little bit of grace and communicate, I think, is the best key. But if you just I don't know,
jump to conclusions, and
if you jump to
I didn't
conclusions,
get an invoice, so I'm just going to cancel my order. It's like, wait, what?
right.
And sometimes, you might get the email address wrong. Whenever I am a buyer, I always message the zip code, and then I message the email separate so they can copy and paste it.
Yeah,
that's why I do it, but they may not know that. But
I know. And sometimes you get like the address and everything. It's all in one line.
One together.
But at least they're sending it. But at least they're sending it.
Yes. At first, I didn't like sending invoice sent because I felt like that was pushy. But then I realized it was really advantageous, because what if I had a typo in that email? Now that's why I send this, guys, because now I've sent the email. I've sent the invoice. So I send a little, image that says, thank you very much, invoice sent, with cute little kitties. And then you can go check and find it. If it's not there, then to let me know. And then I can be like, oh, whoops, I have a typo in the email, or check your spam, and then we communicate.
I think that's a really good tip. I think that's a really good tip. And I think that's something that I used to do. And I think it's something that I'm going to start doing again. Because for that exact reason, if you have an email, if you've got a letter wrong, and and if you're going above and beyond, if I'm going above and beyond and I still haven't heard from you, or this, that, and the other, then other steps could be taken. Like the thing that happened today, that person is blocked. They cannot buy, nor nothing will show up if they comment anything on my YouTube channel, because
you can't take that risk again. You can't take that risk.
I cannot take that risk again, and I won't take it again.
Yep.
Yeah, that too. When you're shopping,
I'm like, what did I buy?
Yeah, right. And that does happen. I mean, we have a lot of wonderful customers that do shop at several different sales. Absolutely, and it gets overwhelming for them. And I think that, Amy, that is a really important thing to do. And I know that, I think Katie Girl does it. I know some other people have done it. I've just kind of not done it, but I think I'm going to start doing it again.
Yeah, I think it's really important, because that way it takes away the guesswork, and people, instead of like, well, did she send the invoice and I'm just not getting it? If you haven't received that picture that says I sent it, then I have not sent it yet. So don't worry,
But see, I think that's what's so advantageous though about Instagram is because it's like your communication is all in one, aside from, of course, the PayPal invoicing, but you have like a direct line of communication with your buyer, where I think that's something that we lack on the YouTube aspect, because we rely solely typically on somebody taking the initiative to email us, where where you guys can literally DM them and be like, you still want this? And not only that, but once you send that picture, you know if they've seen it or not. Mm-hmm. And then if they've seen it and they failed to pay it, then you're like, well, you're obviously not going to be paying this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. See, there's Sarah. There's Sarah being a naughty seller. Right there, we're going to call her right out for you, woman. Then
Sarah. Well, I just finally did mine and I am done and I handed it all off to my assistant and she's going to be shipping it all. So I'm caught up finally. And thank you everyone for your patience.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Linda, you had asked to see my dolls way back when. I'll just bring
just don't show that one that's on your other side. Oh, no, I see one that I don't want. I would not like to see that one. No, it's on the shelf behind your head to the side by your window.
Some of these dolls are not mine. Some of them are vintage. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I see a clown. I don't want to see the. Don't show. No.
That's the witch. You like witches?
Oh, okay. I thought it was a clown. No, I like her. She's
I was
cool.
like Witchy Poo from HR Puff and Stuff.
Yeah, this is my favorite vintage witch head, you guys, and I have them in little teeny tinies too. So she needs arms, and I don't know what I did with the rest of this. So until I find it, she has no arms. But yeah. So
I love that.
And I'm really excited about this. I just found it at the Long Beach Antique Market, and he's going to have a glittery double body. I know. Oh my gosh.
Cute.
I have to finish my picking video from Long Beach, and then I'm going to show off some of the stuff I got. But for Linda, you can also go to my Instagram and see lots of my dolls that are now, in someone's home. But and then I was just going to show off this little guy because this is another thing we can do now. One of my nanny kids wanted to have an elf on the shelf birthday.
Oh, no.
So I had to come up with a way to have a workshop to make their own dolls. Okay. So what I want to do when it gets into like November is have that workshop. We can do it online and I can make up kits or give the supply list. But I made my Chuck Negron doll in this style. Now, all this
googly eyes?
He does. It's like Muppet style.
Oh my God, I love it.
That is brilliant.
So these are his actual clothes. I'm really dealing with StreamYard here, but he's completely posable. And I started by doing Chuck Negron Elf on the Shelves. And I did a whole bunch of them, and then I got burned out. So I haven't made any more for the fans, and they're really wanting them. So I got to get into it. But
we need to have you make a Cult-of-Vintage doll.
Yes. Okay. Listen, guys. This
could have a Michael on a shelf.
This head. The heads are from the freaking Dollar Tree.
Really?
I get these little baby doll in this head, and I take all the paint off with acetone, and I use the same head to make all the different looks.
Oh my goodness.
That's awesome.
So I definitely want to have that workshop for everyone, and we need to do that together. So it'll motivate me if I have a purpose. Like I have to show up and do it.
Really?
So yeah. So I want to do more of these. Like when I'm having to do 60 dolls a week, I've got to do the cone dolls because I can drum these out a lot faster than making a whole doll or redressing a pose doll. So I want to offset the vintage also so I can work on more focused, more involved pieces and not just drum out these cone dolls,
I also need an Uncle Professor George doll on the shelf so I can carry him in my pocket and take him to the Berkeley Market with me.
You'll all have your own little mascot dolls.
Yes.
When I get caught up, I still have my custom list. I got it by September. I got to have all this caught up so I can do more things.
Oh, I love it. So fun.
I can, but like I said, I am behind right now. So, message me so I can put you on my list. And once I get caught up, in the next month or two, that's my goal. I'm trying not to overbook my sales over the summer so that I can work more on custom orders and get things caught up.
You know what, Amy? That is a thing though I think that we do to ourselves too. We overextend ourselves a little
Yeah.
bit. We want to do so much. Like we have
Yeah.
all of these ideas and all these things that we want to do and thinking about them sound really good, but then at the end of the day you're like, "Oh crap. How am I going to do this?"
Yeah.
So that's the hard thing, is to overextend.
I have to
To have that
tell
balance.
David and Stephanie, you guys, I went back, and Sarah, I went back for my little demon doll sister and the black satin doll.
She's
You
gone.
guys, somebody bought her. And
Did you?
I was telling Misty and Michelle that. I was like, I feel like somebody bought it. They saw her on that video and they bought
They
it.
did.
I know they bought it and they bought it.
Take it from me. If you put it out on a video, you go back the next day, it's not going to be there. That happens all the time. So you have to buy it as soon as you see it, or just don't put it in your video until.
But I did find
Don't
Satan
put
and
that video
Jesus
out
today,
until
all
you're
on the same day.
Oh man.
No, that creepy mess was adorable. Mhm.
And you
my
guys, I'm going to go back through all these comments and respond to you guys. It's hard when we're focusing
I
on
know,
talking
it
to each
is.
other. So I don't want anyone to feel like I've
Yeah.
overlooked you. I'm going to go back and
Well,
go through all the comments and respond
and
to
if
anyone
you
who had
if
anything
you
for
have
me.
a question for Amy or for Marion, you absolutely Michael linked did you link their emails? Yeah, so all their
Yeah.
emails are
No,
in
I
the
didn't put their emails. I did put the Instagrams.
Oh, okay. Well then they can
Instagram's great.
Yeah, DMS or my email is connected in my YouTube bio as well.
Yeah.
I
Oh
know
yeah,
Yvonne has
you-
been,
she's been wanting this question answered, Marion.
she has.
I love Yvonne and her persistence. I love that about her.
Mhm.
Well, I did have an antique booth, and really what was missing from me at the antique booth were the buyers, the right buyers, and finding, I had things sit in my antique booth for a year that I sold in 2 seconds when I finally joined ISN and started doing group selling and selling under our group hashtags, and that just having that happen, I was just like, I know I made the right choice. Like, I am an online seller. I am not an antique booth, and I'm curating these really mid-century, more, pieces and glassware and stuff like that. And again, the shipping is the one thing that's always just scared me because again, I ship breakables, I spend a lot of money on bubble, a lot of money on good bubble
And
wrap.
she does, folks. I can attest to it. I was using that bubble wrap for
Marion,
like a minute.
American Bubble Boy.
Yeah,
American Bubble Boy. They're
And
great.
so, I know. And so I need to switch, but I have my way of how I ship. And I really, I need to get better about making sure I, charge for the bubble and stuff like that, and the shipping because it those 12 by 12 boxes, like you don't get those free from the post office, so, and especially I'll have to do the Franken box where I have to take 2 and put it together. And then recently, because I did have an item break in the last month, I've been double boxing everything because I do send glass. So I will do a 12 by 12 by 8 box and a 12 by 12 by 12 box because I'm just so afraid of these things shipping, or just breaking, excuse me. And so that's why I thought the antique booth was right for me because I do sell a lot of glassware, so, but really mainly, oh, thank you so much. It was a really fun booth and I really enjoyed it, but like paying your rental fee and then like only making, no joke, $200 in 30 days.
Yeah.
Like, I had months like that after COVID when they were closed. Willowstone was closed for 2 months almost and opened back up. And like, I was too afraid to go in there, honestly. And I was going every day, like zhuzhing it, rearranging, sales were steady. And then after COVID, like I was too afraid because of COVID. My husband's a healthcare worker, like I just didn't want to go there. And couldn't give it the love, couldn't give it the zhuzhing, and my sales just plummeted. And I was, again, like making, and it wasn't my, my job in music. Before also, I have all these little hustles, I do VIP stuff in Denver and Colorado Springs, running VIPs for venues like Red Rocks, Pepsi Center, all the venues in town and stuff like that. And that just went away. Literally in a week, like it went away, and then like trying to like make the booth work, that wasn't working, like literally I was just like, spending all this money on gas, traveling, curating, and like nothing's coming of it. And I don't even know how I came across Sarah, the Traveling Buttons Vintage Shop Coach Instagram, but I found it and I was like, I think to my husband, I think I'm going to pay, and like do this class and learn how to ship correctly, how to work PayPal, how to work Instagram and know the algorithm. Like there are all these secrets to Instagram and I'm not going to give them away, but like, that's just, it was just the biggest blessing I've ever had was honestly meeting Sarah and pivoting this business to an online business on Instagram. And then again, having items sell, like, and then having 10 backups. And that sat in my, like a Danish candlestick, like sitting in my booth for a year. And I kept lowering the prices, doing 50% off days, like, and finally I was just like, I'm just ready to pivot this and really hone in on what my buyers want. And now after, 10 months doing this, I know what you guys like. I know what sells. I know what to pick now. And it's just, it's been really fun. So I just feel really lucky. And like to join being with Amy and ISN and this group of sellers that, we really do try to lift each other up, positive vibes, like no BS, you are out, you are blocked, you're gone. Like we don't have time for that on Instagram, so we just, not to be harsh, but we're sellers, we just, it's a quick exchange and, it's, I want to get your item to you as fast as possible, as safe as possible. And, it's just been real fun. So I'm really, maybe one day I'll do an antique booth again because I do collect furniture and stuff like that. But I've done the bigger things I sell on Facebook Marketplace here locally, so I don't know why I need to pay someone who's, or another platform who's just going to take money from me, and not that it's all about money, but, this is our full-time job and I am paying my bills and, with this and, so it's,
I think that gets forgotten a lot. I think that people are like, this is ultimately, we love what we do. We love our customers. We've built relationships with a lot of our customers, but ultimately this is a business and we have to look at it from a business standpoint. And this sounds harsh too. It's like, it's not personal, it's just business, but there's a lot of truth to that.
Mm-hmm.
You work hard at curating, you work hard at, organizing and cleaning and keeping track and paying your overhead, the overhead that you have for things.
Oh, yeah.
It so is important to cut I just wish that more people would. I think the majority of people do realize that it is what we're doing for a living. This is, paying our bills. So we can't like hold things for a month, unless you've got, circumstances, and you've communicated, but we got to get this stuff in and out and in and out. And, I have a lot of space where I can store things, but I don't want to. I don't need to store things. I don't want to store things. I want to get it and ship it out. And like Michael has a very limited amount of space. He can't hold things forever. He's got to, we got to get it out. We got to keep it going.
Yes. Yeah. And that's like one thing with the antique booth, again, things just sitting there, and you think you're curating what people want because that's what you like, and my booth was in the back corner of the building, and so, it was, but I did, learn that Instagram hustle, by promoting it, but then every day, do you ship? And I'm like, how do I do this?
I tell you what, a lot of people ask about, a lot of people are asking about Instagram sales or how to have an Instagram sale. And y'all need to connect with Sarah, the traveling button. You need to connect with Sarah. Find her on Instagram, send her a message, and she will, give you information on her classes and send you where you need to be go. But I know if you're having these questions, she is the person that knows the stuff inside and out.
If you guys want to find the Instagram sales, you're going to shop the hashtag. It's ISN member item. And that will take you to huge amount of listings.
Huge amount.
So just go into your little search box and click on tags and then type in ISN member item. And Marion, I remember when Sarah met you and she was so excited to have a partner in crime right there in Colorado to have this picking business with. And I'm so glad that you're there with her. And Sarah said she's been such a blessing to me. We encourage each other and hold each other accountable. And I mean, I remember when I first started looking into the vintage and I'm like, oh my God, I idolized her and her page. And I thought, she'll never follow me. And I followed her and I thought she was the coolest in the world. And now we're like BFFs.
No, I feel the same way. And I feel
so unapproachable, it seemed, like she's larger than life.
Well, and just what a blessing it is that she's here and we've become such good friends.
Yes.
And this last year and have so much in common because of the love of vintage,
Yeah.
And we really have two different styles. So that also really helps our friendship. So we're really always picking for each other. Hey, I found this glass. Hey,
that's great.
I found this thing with eyelashes. I don't know what it is, Sarah, but it's kitschy and I think your buyers would like it. And
that's fun. I love that.
We connect over vintage. I mean, everyone in this community, not just Sarah and you and I, but like all the sellers and buyers, we connect, but then we connect on an emotional level as well because vintage brought us together, but then we find other things in common and we connect on emotions as well. And I think it's really, really very special. And I just shipped my first Pyrex. I sat on it for 2 weeks because I was terrified to ship it. So I feel all of that and I'm still like, meh. And it was like letting my assistant take the items and wrap them this time because before I've been like,
oh yeah.
I'm like, I need to do it myself because I don't want her to be responsible. But she's a vintage buyer. It's like, Amy, let her do it. She can handle this. And she is. So
fill the voids, wrap it well.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it arrived safely and I did box the bag, and I had to build it all with cardboard and create a fake box in a bag, but I did it. And it arrived, and then it's like, okay, I can do this. Because I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to deal with Pyrex. It's too stressful. But it worked.
Yeah, it is overwhelming. I just did a whole Pyrex sale where I was selling nesting sets, refrigerator sets. And yeah, it was really intimidating. But again, I had been sitting on all this Pyrex for 2 years,
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's time to release it,
You just did it. I mean, you just jumped in there and you did it.
And shipping is the hard part, but if I feel like I have it dialed in now, and I feel like I know what's working, double boxing, and like trying to use recycled materials when I can. One time I did have a customer message me about all the shipping materials. And I'm like, but did it get there safely? And that's all I care about. I'm like, you can recycle it, do whatever you want with it, but my main concern is getting it to you safely and as safely as possible. And if that's going to be another wrap of the bubble,
so be it.
So be it,
Michael, we better let you talk because, someone says poor Michael can't get a word in edgewise.
Oh, no.
I feel like I've talked plenty today.
I love those comments. I love
I
those
don't.
comments. They
I
make
mean,
me
I
laugh.
don't. I
They've
don't
got your
believe that a good
back.
host should be in a position to constantly be talking. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, you
that's
do need to
just
let your
me.
guests talk from time to
Thank you.
time, you know.
Well, and that's why I love this this platform that we're all doing and just here talking and that you guys do. You know, I think that's really helpful for the buyers and sellers. You know, I just think this is such a fun thing to be on with you guys, and I appreciate being here. And I think people can understand more of where we're coming from as sellers and what we have to deal with, you know, and I just think this has just been a really great, you know, chat we're having. So
And this is actually an interesting comment that I've kind of wanted had, and I know a couple of you have responded, but I do want to actually put this one up. And this is going to put me back to, again, one of the original things that I really have pushed for the merging of YouTube and Instagram is actually for this very specific reason. Because if you watch, I think it was, I forget if it was whatever Rescue Squad, I can't remember if it was on Missy channel or my channel, but Sarah and Allison were on with us, and we were talking specifically about demographics. And it's interesting because we didn't realize that as a business, an Instagram business account, Instagram does provide you analytics.
oh yeah.
Just as YouTube provides us as content creators analytics. And part of one of the biggest analytics is the age range. And interestingly enough, no, 70-year-old women are not predominantly utilizing Instagram. However, 65 plus our YouTube, our vintage and antique reselling community, it actually is our biggest demographic. So the question was, how can we attract as YouTubers, attract a younger demographic that are just starting into this vintage world? And how can we get our older, more established buyers into the Instagram world? And that is why we then merged with and Vintage Rescue Squad has brought up. Is it just a great platform in which to do that? So, you know, and doing the live sales with Instagrammers has been a phenomenal thing. And you are going to start seeing YouTubers now appear on Instagram live sales.
Yep.
Yay. And
So
I just want to say to that
Yes.
demographic,
Yeah.
many of my husband's fans are in the 60 plus, 65 into early 70s age bracket, and they have followed me onto Instagram, and sometimes I'm kind of guiding them, helping them. Like, I'm happy to help any of you guys get comfortable navigating Instagram, but I've got a huge viewer base and that demographic that are there on Instagram with us, and they also enjoy watching the other sellers. You know, they branched out from me and they watch the other live sales. So don't be intimidated by Instagram. I can help you.
Theo.
Hi, Theo. Theo, are
Hi,
you watching us,
Theo.
man? What's going on?
It's Theo. Oh my gosh, I'm like, Theo.
Theo, Theo.
I'm making you a special doll, Theo, and it's going to be a Theo doll. I found a doll head that looks like you, so it's going to be a Theo doll, and it's going to be a present.
Oh my
What?
goodness.
No. Oh my gosh, man, that is amazing. You're lucky.
It'll be the coolest doll ever.
Yeah.
It will be.
Well,
I like Sheila's comment.
We know because
70-year-old.
Instagram and YouTube tells us.
yes.
Right.
Yes.
And for me personally, I know my husband's fans personally because we've had them for so many years that I know how old they are. So,
Well,
are
and I
technically like in a range.
Sheila says 70-year-olds like to touch all kinds of stuff. We're not dead. I love that, Sheila.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I also
But
think
we can touch
What
your
is it?
soul.
What
You
is-
can touch our hearts.
yeah.
Yes.
Fire. Well, no, it's what is it? Ice on the. What is it? Ice on the mountain, fire in the valley, something like that, to that effect.
And I also want to say, because you guys talked about how much you enjoy just hanging out and having the engagement, like, I encourage people to come to my sales, even if you're not buying anything, just to hang out and have that sense of feeling like you're with someone. I'm telling you, through those months last year, I was watching live sales just to feel like I was with someone, like I was hanging out with friends, and I didn't even know these people, but it made me feel more comforted while I'm crafting and I'm going through this stuff in this world. And it really helped me. So I want people to feel like they can come to my sales if they just want to see what I've created. Don't feel like you have to buy something to be there, because you add to the experience with your comments. And it's just like, it's not just about selling for me. It's about spreading joy and creating an experience for people to be uplifted and feel joyful. So just keep that in mind.
And I love seeing when buyers show me their item in their home or their office.
Oh, I love that.
Or hey, I resold this for this, like,
Yeah.
I love that. Like, message me that all day,
I love that.
And tag me, yeah, on your items. If you post
we need to like create like a hashtag for customers to share their like pictures of their displays of things that they bought from us and stuff. That would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
I think that would be fantastic.
Oh, Yvonne mentioned TikTok. Marion has an amazing TikTok. Just gonna say.
Thank
she has
you.
an amazing TikTok.
It's fun. Yes, I've enjoyed because making videos, on Instagram with reels, you can just put those up on TikTok as well. And, I've had actually a couple videos go viral on TikTok where I've had over 300,000 views on a wicker shelf at like a thrift store, and like there was another one that went over 150,000 views. Like it's crazy, like the reach that you can like get out there, and I mainly am on Instagram. Instagram is my passion. That's what I really love doing. I love, showing off my home and showing items in my home, and same with making videos on TikTok and of my home and stuff like that. Like just, vintage is such a passion, and it's just been so fun getting to now take these items and get them into y'all's homes and stuff like that. So, it's just fun.
We're living the dream, guys. We're living the dream.
I know.
I wake up and I pinch myself sometimes. Like, is this really what I'm doing? Am I really doing this as my job?
Yeah.
I love it.
So everyone go follow me on Instagram. It's really fun. So I promise I'm not too annoying. I don't post too much, but sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I just posted like 30 times today.
You post all the beautiful vacation photos. She makes you jealous. Don't let her lie to you. She'll make you jealous.
Yeah. But again,
she's out there living her best.
Right. Well, and like still I have some buyers who live in places that are still on lockdown with COVID and stuff like that. So since here, being vaccinated and being able to go back out thrifting and bringing along you guys, every time I go thrifting, I'm always posting in my Instagram story, bringing you guys along, letting you vote with me if I should pick this item or not, and so that's really helped me curate and figure out what people like from Instagram's a great tool to really hone in on what your buyers like from you. So, which has been interesting to figure all that out with the analytics on there. And, and with COVID and stuff like that, I think it's been really, people have been being at home. They want to make their homes more comfortable, and having vintage and have, us selling things and like having your dolls, Amy. I mean, that just brings so much joy into people's lives. Like and then getting those messages from y'all telling me that like, this is, I had such a bad day and then I watched your video or followed your story or something like all those messages like mean so much. And it's really, really refreshing. And it keeps me going because you'll have that one bad customer you got to block, but then you have 100 more people who are like, you're doing awesome, keep it up, and you got to focus on the good and just, because it does crush you personally when something does again break or mix up or whatever. Yeah. You don't want to mess up, you want to be perfect, in a sense, so yeah, it's just, it's such a great community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fear of missing out. FOMO is fear of missing out, Daniel.
Daniel,
I
I
didn't
love
know
it.
either, Daniel.
I love
I didn't
Fear
Daniel.
of
know.
missing out. Fear of missing out.
I don't even know what YOLO means either. So,
You only live one.
oh, okay.
Marion,
Yes.
Marion, my daughter, who's 21, and I was like, Emma, what does FYP mean on TikTok? And she was like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "I don't know. What am I supposed to be using this hashtag for your page? For your page?" I'm like, okay, so that's something I learned. I knew.
Well,
Or
and I
knew
feel
I
like,
learned.
yeah, TikTok is like, again, learning something every day on there. And especially in this vintage community, we're literally learning all the time, about stuff and new makers and, all kind like history of items, and that's something else I think is really fun about selling vintage is learning the history about the items.
Oh, I know.
And so also in our live sales, talking about where things were made or where they came from. And, so it's fun. It's just fun.
Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Chrissy, we do have a mentoring program. It's the Vintage Shop Coach on Instagram. That's Sarah at the Traveling Button.
You know what?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I even
do?
took a session with her when I was first starting out too. She's like, "You don't need." I'm like, "Yes, I still want to learn what I can from you." She's amazing. So check it out.
You guys,
Mhm.
I will make sure I will add Sarah's the Vintage Coach, her
Definitely.
Instagram page, so you'll have a direct link in the description box to this video. So you'll be able to click on it, and that is Sarah's specific to new Instagram sellers. If you need advice, if you need tips, if you want to take her workshop, you will be able to contact her through that account, and you can
Yes.
DM her those specific questions as it relates to Instagram selling. So I will make sure to put that in the description for you.
It's a game changer.
And it's not a one size fits all. It's like if you have a specific thing about Instagram you need help with, she will help you on that.
Right. Yes. Yeah, definitely. My issue was shipping. I was like, how do I not have items break?
I love shipping. It's my favorite thing.
I always
I
tell
do
myself
not.
that when I'm like, and I'm like, but Misty really loves it, and people like watching her ship.
You have to make it fun.
It
You have
encourages
to make
me.
it fun. Like I like I spend a little bit more on the tissue paper. I do find it cheap, and you just make it fun. I switch it up. I don't want to look at the same. I don't know. You just make it fun.
But
And
you know
it's
what?
like the completion of it.
I think for Misty, though, is that she does view the shipping process as kind of like, imagine it being like Christmas and you're wrapping presents. And it's like, these are the presents that yes, they've been purchased, but it's that mental process.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the excitement of, oh, this person's going to get this. And so.
Yes.
And now that you get to know your customers, and I'll find like certain pieces of ephemera because I buy a lot of postcards and stuff. Like you can buy a big old box of postcards at a yard sale, and then you can look through them and kind of like curate what I don't know. It's just I make it fun for all.
Yeah.
I love your shipping videos. You've inspired me to redo my shipping room, and so I'm getting a stand-up desk, and I already got the tape dispenser.
And oh my gosh, that tape dispenser.
Game changer. Because the tape gun, I just always have issues with using too much tape. And so I've been learning your ways.
Yeah. I just like shipping. I keep saying that one day I'm going to, like on a shipping day, I'm going to just set up my camera and just go live. Like just like for like, because I ship like sometimes 10 hours, but I'm not going to be live for 10 hours, but like maybe just like for an hour.
Yeah.
And then just kind of like chat and people can ask questions. I get a lot of people asking me questions about like dimensions of boxes, like how do I know? And so I thought maybe that might be a fun thing to do, is just to kind of answer those questions live as I'm shipping.
Love that. I'll be watching.
Hey.
Well, guys, I think we're at 10:10, and
make a wish.
I know, seriously, before Misty turns into her pumpkin.
No, 10-10. You're supposed to make a wish when it's double digits. When the hour and the second.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Made one.
Okay.
Did everybody out there make a wish too?
I think they
I hope
did.
so.
Don't tell us what it is or it won't come true.
No, you can't tell what it is.
No. I think this was a fantastic Vintage Rescue Squad.
I do too.
Thank you guys.
really
I'm so
do.
honored. And you guys inspired me to set up my YouTube. So thank you so much.
I mean, again, I can't thank you ladies enough for being here. I was flattered that you said yes, and you said yes so willingly. That meant a lot. I do appreciate it. And it definitely was our pleasure to have you ladies up here. And I'm sure, and I hope, yes, Dagny, and please don't forget, but I hope that everybody really in the chat had a good time, that you learned something new. And thank you so much. Okay. Ladies, do you have any upcoming sales that you want?
You go first, Davey.
Okay, so I only have 3 sales this month, but I'll talk about the ones coming up this week. So I have Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern, and it's with Enamour Amy on Instagram. And she is an amazing handmade creator, and she also does amazing kitschy vintage. So we're going to be doing vintage, and I'm trying to get the sun out of my face. We're going to be doing vintage and handmade, so it's going to be so much fun. That's on Instagram, and then I will be going live with Sarah with the Traveling Button on Friday. That's 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to tune in, follow me on Instagram. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm just starting out, and I'm going to be doing picking and unboxing and crafting videos. So thank you.
Yay.
No doubt.
And my next live sale is actually tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time with the Traveling Button, Sarah. At 10 a.m. MST, we're going to be doing coffee talk and some selling at her house. And then Wednesday, I'm live on Instagram with Toledo Antiques at 6 p.m. MST. And then Sunday, I'm back here on YouTube with Michael, and we're at 6 p.m. MST, so 8 o'clock Eastern time. So join me back here on YouTube and follow me on Instagram at MidMod Marion. And I also have a YouTube channel, MidMod Marion, and like and subscribe there. And I'm also doing picking videos and thrifting videos, estate sale videos, flea market sale videos, and then coming in July and August, we will be hitting the road and doing road videos and just our travels and picking on the road, and then live selling on Instagram. Right? So, let's go. Yeah. So, yay.
Tomorrow. And tomorrow we're having the Threes Company sale tomorrow. Will be myself and Michael and Michelle, Comfy Cozy Living. Wednesday, I'm having my live sale at 11 o'clock. No, I'm sorry, at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with Marcy, the Vintage Bulldog. So we will be having a sale together. And these girls are going to be having I'm doing partnered sales every other week now on my YouTube channel. So I'm, going to be sending out some messages to these girls and see if they would like to join me. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I love the partnered sales because it's just the interaction. It was just so much fun. So absolutely make sure that you tune in for tomorrow. And I tried something new today. I'm going to go live every Monday on YouTube at 11. And we're going to pick things from my shelf, and we're going to sell them right then and there. I look like Suzanne Summers.
Yes.
No. I'm doing the Thigh Master right now. This whole time I've been Thigh Master.
Get it. All right, ladies. So again, thank you all so much. Oh, yeah. And tomorrow, as Misty said, I will be on with Michelle and Misty tomorrow, 1 p.m. And again, you're going to see me Sunday. And of course, as Marion said, Marion is going to be with me, you guys. Exciting.
I'm finding
Again,
lots of
please,
good things for our sale.
we are. We are. And I have to bring it because I know Miss Viking Queen over here. And I'm just like, oh, sweet Jesus, here we
Oh,
go.
sweet Jesus.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
We're going to sell all the glass.
All the glass. All the glass. I'm down with it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope everybody has a great night out there. And hopefully, we'll all see you soon. Good night, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. And now we freeze our face till it says end.